Hi there, my name is Duaine Vallejos, and I am the Torque Training Coordinator for Snap-on Specialty Tools located in City of Industry, California. Today we are going to discuss the proper use, the proper selection, and the proper maintenance of your Snap-on torque instrument so that it will give you many years of reliable service. All different types of torque instruments are designated by styles, per ASME or per ISO. Those are the two major governing bodies for torque. If you look at this is a dial type torque instrument and it has a different style from your click styles as opposed to your electronic. So choosing the right torque instrument for the job is very crucial. Normally we have a wide range of different applications, and we'll start off with the click style. It is the most popular torque instrument on the planet and one of the most durables. Usually when you're working in different locations like mines where the climate varies from different degrees, you may want to choose this for its durability. So this is one good selection. For more critical applications where torque is very important and you have to get that target torque right on every time, we have the Tech Series torque instruments that really allow the end user to really get the exact torque when he's applying it to a fastener. Then we have the same type of click style, but what's great about these, especially if you're in a harsher environment, this is the one torque instrument you don't have to wind down after use. You can leave it at any setting and store it that way. So that makes this torque instrument very advantageous if you have technicians that have a tendency just to leave their torque instruments at any given torque value. And finally we have the dial torque instrument, which is very accurate, which also allows the end user to see the actual torque that they're applying to a fastener. So we have all different types of selections, including the torque screwdriver that allows for smaller applications like PC boards or possibly cockpits and things of that nature, so that you get the right torque and you don't over torque. This will prevent you from over torquing. Since about 1990, the industry has introduced torque to yield fasteners. And what that means is you apply an initial torque and then you apply an angle, which measures in degrees. So we have the special torque instrument, which is our Tech Angle series, which will allow you to do that. It'll allow you to apply a torque, then follow up with an angle setting as well, so that you get the proper angle. It isn't like back in the old days where you had to have an angle gauge, where you had to have a torque instrument and an angle gauge to get the job done. Now you have one torque instrument that does it all. One of the biggest misconceptions is you could grab any torque instrument and just pick it up and use it, and unfortunately that is not true. There's going to have to be a lot of human interface in order to apply the correct torque. What we have found with this type of torque instrument, the average technician will over torque a fastener by 20% of its set value. So it's very important to learn how to apply a torque. For instance, we have this 15 to 75 torque instrument, and it's a click style, and we're going to set it to 25. I'm sure we've all seen and watched people who apply torque. They will grab it and they will just pull it. But look how much I went over by. So when you're applying torque, it is very important that you hold it level, you hold it to the center of handle, and you apply very slowly to get the proper torque. Very important. So there's a lot of human interface that needs to go with this type of torque instrument. So please use a lot of care and treat it like you're using a micrometer, because these two instruments are no different. They're both precision measuring instruments. We have the Tech style torque instrument, and what this basically does, it actually gives a mini tester right in the technician's hand. I have this set for 20 foot-pound, and what's nice about this, I can apply a torque, it gives me a vibration and a buzz, and it actually tells me the torque that I'm applying without the assistance of a tester. So these are really good to let the technician know that they're applying the correct torque to the correct application. Again, we have a torque instrument, and it's electronic, and it's a memory style. What it does, it allows you to memorize and download and record all the torques you apply to a certain application, so that there's some paper trail and some record of the job that's being done. You know, this is something that's always forgotten. Even some of your best technicians will forget how to care for their torque instruments. And since there's all different types today, we have to use special care for different types of torque instruments. And for the click style, we always want to make sure we never over torque or we never use it as a breaker bar. As I stated earlier, this is a precision measuring instrument and should be treated as such. At the end of the day, when we are done working, we always want to wind it down to its lowest reading on the scale. And that's how we want to store it. We never want to leave a torque instrument wound up because it can and it will affect the calibration. These also need special care as well. Since these are highly accurate, these require batteries. So we always want to make sure that we have a nice battery charge. We also have fresh batteries on hand. And also what's a good idea is to remove the batteries and store it, again, without the batteries inside the torque instrument. And finally, just like with any other torque instrument, a dial torque instrument, we don't want to over torque. And we always want to clean it and take care of it and always store it in a nice place away from moisture and dirt. So we always want to take good care of our torque instruments like we would something, like I said, a micrometer or a measuring instrument. In this day and age, we have so many units applications. Snap-on has a wide variety of different torque instruments that will meet these needs. Let's talk about some of the units of measurements. The most popular, we all know about foot-pound, we all know about inch-pound, inch-ounce, and Newton-meter. Those are the four primary units of measurements that you will normally see throughout the world. Of course, there are more in the Asian market, such as decinewton-meter, centimeter-newton-meter, milligram-kilogram, and centimeter-kilogram. So when choosing the right torque instrument, please choose one that will meet the units of measurement that you will be using. One thing we don't want to use is conversions. Conversions can be calculated incorrectly. So always use the proper torque instrument for the right unit of measurement. And that's a good question. And it's a very unknown question for the end user. We as lab people know that it's 365 days from the day it has been certified. So, since we can't keep track of cycles, because there's another one that's 5,000 cycles, and that's very hard to maintain and keep track of, it would be best to use the 365-day cycle mandated by ASME or ISO. I started in the torque business in 1988, and when I started, all we had were testers like this, mechanical style type, and the majority of torque instruments that you saw were these old style beams. Over the last 22 years, we have seen the growth of electronic torque instruments, download capabilities, to automatic digital testers. So we have come a long way, and we're very, very dedicated to always developing new styles of torques and applications to meet customers' needs throughout the world. And certainly there are some signs that an end user should look for. You as the end user won't always have the correct answers, but if you're unsure, always send your torque instrument to a certified calibration lab like Sumincol here. They're one of the best labs in the world, and I would recommend, if you have any doubts about your torque instruments, please send them to them for evaluation, and they will give you an honest and true evaluation of all your torque instruments. We would like to thank you for joining us on this torque tutorial. I know we've spoke about a lot of technical side of the torque instruments, specifications, and how you should care for your instrument, but we want to make sure that you care for yourself when using any torque instrument. Your safety is very important to us. So always make sure that you're using goggles, and always make sure you're in a nice area when you're using any torque instrument. Have a nice day, and we hope to speak to you again.